Hello everybody, this is Indy Pride with Milk and Cookies Total War, bringing you another 2v2 commentary. And this replay commentary, I kind of want to go over a couple of the changes that I haven't talked too much about since patch 4 and patch 5 were released. And they aren't massive changes, but I think they do slightly change the metagame. I know I say that word a lot, I say metagame a lot, but I think one of the great things about Rome 2 and any game that gets patched a reasonable amount is that it can change the entire outlook of the game and how it's played, and even slight little tweaks here and there can completely change army compositions and make the game seem fresher. So two of those little slight changes that actually do kind of affect the metagame are a buff to Scythed Chariots, or honestly it's not even a buff, they make them work now. Before patch 4, Scythed Chariots literally did nothing. You could run them into the back of enemy units, they wouldn't get kills, they would kind of just flop over and die, and they were completely and utterly useless. Now they have a use. They aren't like in Rome 1 where you could just run them into a bunch of cavalry and kill all the cavalry. It's not like that. In fact, I'm not even sure they're useful in a cavalry battle. I have played a few battles where I used them in a cav fight and they didn't do very much except die. So what I've found is that they're very, very powerful against infantry units. If you use them in a hammer and anvil kind of tactic, but then drag them through, you don't have to leave them in the fight, although that works too. You can actually drag through the enemy units, and it will cause a ton of morale penalties, and it will destroy infantry units. So they are very effective, and I've seen them get upwards of 300 to 400 kills if used properly. The other change, and many of you guys know this by now, we did cover it somewhat in the Nomadic Tribes Pack DLC video that we did earlier, is that horse archers have become a lot better now. And what's kind of funny about it is that I've discovered the lower tier horse archers are actually somewhat better than the higher tier archers in the fact that they have heavy shot, which is armor piercing, and some of the more elite horse archer units, like over here the Saka Cataphract horse archers from the Masagatai, don't necessarily have heavy shot. I think actually the Saka Cataphracts might, but I know that some of the heavier horse archers do not, and I'm not really sure what the reasoning for that is. But the good thing about these guys right here, the mercenary Scythian horse archers, I don't know why the camera's shaking like that, is that they only cost 390 talents, which means they are very, very cheap, almost as cheap as a regular foot archer, and they have the heavy shot armor piercing capability, so they are very, very cost effective if used properly. They can take out enemy missile units just by charging in, and they can take out heavy infantry units with that heavy shot, like I said. So the new patch 4 and 5, have kind of changed the metagame a little bit in that you'll see more Scythed Chariots because they are very effective if used properly, and you will see more horse archers. The problem is that regular foot archers are now pretty much completely gone. They are useless for the most part, and you're not going to be seeing them too often until they get buffed again. I do think it's kind of strange that horse archers have heavy shot while regular foot archers do not. It's one thing that maybe CA will have to address later. This was a very interesting replay, I think, and I kind of just want to go over, maybe not army setups, but certainly the factions here. It's Masagatai and Rome. It's a pretty good combination, honestly. The Masagatai can bring the Saka Cataphracts that you can see over there on that wing, and just really support the Roman heavy infantry very well. On my side, I am playing with Gur. He's a friend and subscriber. He is playing Macedon. He has 6 foot companions, some mercenary Rhodian slingers. Slingers are still okay. They're not great, but they do have some armor piercing, so they're not completely awful. And he has 4 companion caps, so he has a pretty standard Macedon build. I think my army with Pontus is it's not unique, but it's definitely different than what you'll normally see from the Pontic faction. No pikes. It's 5 regular hoplites. And I did think they were very important to bring against a faction like the Masagatai to help reinforce your cavalry, help you win that cav battle. And then I have 6 Pontic Royal Cavalry, 2 Scythed Chariots, and 4 mercenary Scythian horse archers. At the start of this battle, what we noticed was these Saka Cataphracts are completely exposed all by themselves. And what we wanted to do was send all of our cavalry right over. I pinged them right at the start of the battle, and so what I'm going to try to do is cut them off, send my Pontic Royal Cavalry right here, in between the Roman army and the Scythed Chariots, just try to cut them off. If we can surround them and take them off the field before they can be supported by Roman infantry, that would be a huge benefit for us. Rome kind of sees it right here, and he's going to try and chase with the Praetorian Cav, which I do not believe can beat Pontic Royal Cavalry one-on-one in melee. This isn't going to be an easy cav fight. He only has 4 units here, but one of them is his general, and they are the best cavalry unit in the game right now. Scythed Chariots are extremely hard to deal with their huge melee attack damage and their charge bonus and armor. We are going to take this fight though, because like I said, if we can take them off the field now, we're going to be in very good shape the further we get into this battle. So he kind of fails right here, doesn't get a charge off with these guys, which is a huge mistake. And I am going to get a flanking trample charge right here. So we've already taken them down 10 men, that's very good. And we're just going to try to commit all of our cavalry here. Make sure that we don't get too bunched up. I could have flanked a little bit better with that unit. But this fight will drag on for a very long time. When a unit has 105 health and 90 armor, they're not going to be easy to kill. Ideally, it would have been nice to have had some hoplites to back up here. It's not going to be able to happen. Rome does send his cavalry over, and I get a nice charge off on these auxiliary cav. I don't know why I can't say that word. Auxiliary cav, and I should be able to win that fight right here. And one of my other Pontic Royal cavalry is stuck in melee with a Praetorian cav. It's going to be a pretty even fight. I do think Pontic cav and just shot cav in general is a little bit better at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. We just outnumber their cavalry. Rome didn't bring a lot of cav. I think he only had 3 units, and I had 6 shot cav while Macedon had 4. So we are in pretty good shape in this cav battle. Done a good job of surrounding these Scythed Chariots, and even though it will take a very long time, we will be able to eventually cut them down in melee. So I've now decided to reinforce some of my other Scythian horse archers. I'm not going to worry about bringing my hoplites all the way over. We don't want to enter an infantry engagement yet. I want to make sure that we get that cav advantage first. And actually, my Pontic Royal Cavalry did lose to this Praetorian cav relatively substantially. I think that has something to do with the Draco. It is a very good anti-cav unit that cuts down on the effectiveness of enemy cavalry and charge bonuses. So he used that pretty well and ended up actually killing me there. Now, I haven't actually checked if this replay is corrupt. It might be a little bit, because I don't remember this happening, but that could have just been a micro mistake. We'll just continue on with this commentary and pretend like that's what actually happened, because it might have been. I honestly don't remember. What I am going to do though is my archers, my Scythian horse archers, are going to start shooting in on these heavy infantry. I have killed some so far. Looks like about 8 kills so far, so that's pretty decent. And only a couple volleys. And now flanking shots into this auxiliary infantry, and they will drop pretty quickly. We are winning the cav fight. Those Scythed Chariots are still at half strength after this long. And that's one thing that you're going to have to get used to on Rome 2 if you're used to playing games like Medieval 2 or even Shogun 2, is cav battles just last so long. Well, actually they lasted a very long time in Medieval 2, but certainly in Shogun 2 they were a lot faster. And so you need to make sure that your enemy can't reinforce with infantry, because if they do, it's a great way to lose all your cav. They are still alive and not even wavering yet. There we go, they're finally starting to waver now at 13 men. And I think we're just going to pull out here because we know they're about to rout. He does have a Scythed Cataphract Horse Archer in Cantabrian Circle, which are attacked by Pontic Royal Cavalry. And then my side chariots will come in here and start trying to take out these Velites. I noticed that these auxiliary infantry were dropping low, so I wanted to kind of finish them off with a Scythed Chariot. It was kind of a mistake to pull them away because I was trying to chase after this one. But I am going to send my other Scythed Chariot after it. I think I can get a close-up of the charge here, because that will be glorious. These guys, as is to be expected, will destroy any skirmish unit, foot skirmish unit in the game. Just absolutely rip them apart. They're already down to half strength off the charge. I just rode through once. And they're just getting run over. It's a beautiful sight. So we did a good job of cleaning up all their cav. And we basically have cavalry supremacy at this point. He is shooting in on the flanks with his Scythed Cataphracts. They have 24 and 25 kills. None of them have a ton of kills yet, but they have been shooting into the hoplites and the pikes. As you can see, this foot companion is down to 80 men out of 120. So they've been doing some damage. The good thing about the Masagatai horse archers is that they're decent in melee as well. But the thing is, I'd much rather have a very cost-effective and low-cost unit that has heavy armor piercing than an expensive cav unit that doesn't have the heavy armor piercing and can be used in melee. I don't use horse archers for melee. I want to have them be cost-effective and just shoot and skirmish. And if they can't do that, they're kind of useless in my opinion. So, well, not useless, but I just feel like having a 390 talent horse archer is just much more cost-effective than having a horse archer that costs 700. And you will see that these guys get very good kill rates. As you can see, the Scythian horse archer is already up to 60 kills, and we're only about halfway into this battle. They're at 62, 47. They're doing a great job. So the infantry engagement is going to start now. I have my scythed chariots and my cavalry getting ready to come in for a hammer and anvil. Unfortunately, Macedon is going to lose his general here, so that foot companion will rout off the field now. The good thing, though, is that while he's focusing on his pikes, my horse archers are getting free flanking shots off, and you can see how effective this armor piercing is. It really does a lot of damage. Gonna send in my hoplites here, tie down some of these veteran legionnaires. And the cav charge and chariot charge will occur now. So let's zoom in and see what these guys can do in melee. Here we go. And you can just see how massive that disruption in their formation is, how many I killed off the charge. Armor legionnaires are going to have a real hard time dealing with scythed chariots, especially if they can't focus them down. And I am going to leave them in there to finish off the rest of these Roman legions right here. So that charge right there basically got 150 kills for that scythed chariot. That's insane. And the Romans are basically surrounded at this point, getting tied down by my hoplites, and flanking shots from the horse archers will be able to rout this veteran legionnaire on this flank. And in the middle, the Romans are starting to break as well.
Understood. Yes, Commander.
I happen to have enough cavalry left over to start killing off the rest of these Saka cataphract horse archers. And this will be where the battle is basically decided right here. Hoplites in melee with the legionary cohorts. Send in my mercenaries Scythian horse archers because they did run out of ammo. So I just want to tie down his general, see if I can get them killed. And my scythed chariots aren't actually doing much, so I think, yeah, when you actually get into melee with a scythed chariot, you are going to want to give them movement orders so they actually do stuff, because I have noticed that it will sometimes just like chill if you're not giving them attack orders. So yeah, they're not actually doing anything right now, which kind of sucks. But it is just going to be cleaning up the rest of these guys at this point. We pretty much won the battle. There's going to be one more scythed chariot charge. I think it's on that unit, so we'll definitely catch that when it happens. So I think this army that I brought, the 6 Pontic Cav, the 5 hoplites, is a very good counter to what the Masagatai and the Royal Scythians can bring. I'll finish that thought out after this charge. You can just see how fast they get dropped by the scythed chariots. It's insane. They're so good versus infantry. Or sword infantry anyway. Spear infantry, I believe, has a much better chance against scythed chariots. And certainly, if you want to deal with a scythed chariot, what you want to do is put your guys into phalanx or shield wall, and that dramatically cuts down on the effectiveness of their charge. But like I was saying, the army that I brought is a pretty effective counter to the nomadic tribes, because you have enough shot cav that you can deal with some of their Saka cataphracts or their higher tier cavalry. And you also have spear units, which are heavily armored like the hoplites, which can assist in cutting down enemy cavalry and survive against the armor piercing of horse archers. You gotta make sure that you have a lot of cavalry when you play against the Masagatai, Royal Scythians, and Roxolani, because if you don't, they will have free reign to shoot at you. And if they have free reign to shoot at you, the armor piercing will eventually cut through all your guys, and you're not going to have a good day. The other counter to it is bringing your own range units, like slingers. Slingers are a pretty effective counter to the low armor of some of the lower tier horse archer units, so that's another way you can deal with it if you want. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. I do love Scythed Chariots. Try them out if you haven't already. They have been fixed, and they are a lot of fun to use. And maybe give the horse archers a shot as well. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later. Indie Pride out.